Well, hello everyone, yet again, welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, here to give you guys your updates on what's going on in crypto today. I don't have a crazy amount of time, but I had to make sure to put out a video because of the insane amount of headlines that we are seeing today. We're going to be covering that, prices, and plenty more, so you're going to want to stay tuned till the end, guys. Sorry I couldn't make a video yesterday, but we're going to make up for it today. Let's go ahead and dive into things since I don't have that too much time, and it is quite a bit. I'm not even lying. Anyway, we have Bitcoin up 3% at $104,006, and we have Ethereum at $3,131.43. It's up 2.3% over the last 24 hours. Market caps overall up 1.44% for crypto at $3.65 trillion, and gas prices for ETH looking pretty good. About 3 Gwei for your average transaction. So if you're looking to try to do some layer 1 transactions, now is probably one of the best times to be doing that. And it kind of reminds me, right, of just this talk about how expensive fees are on Ethereum. And yeah, it's a reflection of the price. So the more that the price goes up, the more these fees are expensive. And they seem so, at least in fiat terms, because we are paying in Ethereum. We're paying Ethereum as the fuel. It's something that actually requires demand, right? You have to demand ETH in order to use it for transactions. So if people want to transact in the ETH network, which so many products are now built on top of, they're going to need ETH. So I think it's something that I think states are going to want to be acquiring if they want to partake in a lot of what's going on in Ethereum. Although there are plenty of other coins right now that people are hotter for. It's kind of betting against the herd and sitting, considering just how bad sentiment has been on Ethereum recently, right? Anyway, a coin that's up nicely on the day in the top 10 here, Cardano up 3.9%. There's a hard fork coming up that's going to be decentralizing it. We'll be covering that later on in the show. And number 12 spot here, we have Chainlink up 6.1%. If I was rating things as a buy, a hold, and a sell, I would definitely have shifted that to the buy territory after seeing World Liberty Financial, Trump's backed company that's engaging in the DeFi space, acquiring Chainlink along with other things like Aave, along with some wrapped Bitcoin and ETH itself. But looking at their purchases of Chainlink, likely that's playing some sort of role in their investment portfolio from some sort of bigger thesis. So something I think people are going to be trying to hang on to as well and follow, right? Like, does maybe anybody knows, but maybe there's some sort of index, some sort of basket that tracks Trump linked coins, right? Like it would have the Trump NFT in there, and it would have whatever World Liberty Financial is holding, probably have some Bitcoin in there. Yeah, I wonder if there's some sort of index like that to track. I know that there's a bunch of exchanges out there that exist where anyone can make an index and others can copy it. I believe like eToro does. Anyway, yeah, just wanted to share some thoughts there as we go forward. Yeah, the new Ethereum logo is looking pretty great, isn't it? Yeah, it's been a new redesign. We have this new foundation coming out. This is the new official Ethereum logo. Yeah, good times. Anyway, just some thoughts here that I found interesting on the Ethereum subreddit here from Atize. I like to share some of the general sentiment, how people are feeling oftentimes as a gauge of the market. So he wrote this: for as long as Bitcoin remains number one, I honestly don't see Ethereum getting much higher. In my experience, Bitcoin has been a true eye-opener at just how stupid most money is. The far majority seem to invest based on the opinions of others, supposedly experts, without ever bothering to understand themselves what exactly they're buying. Thus, enter banks, financial services, the world where people freely give away their money to these experts they trust will figure out how to best protect/grow their wealth. A large group of rich people isn't interested in making more money. They just want to retain and protect their wealth as safely as possible, and thus let banks classify their portfolio as conservative, who will then take care of the rest. It's absolutely fascinating how long it's taking for Bitcoin to collapse in on itself. I myself walked away without a single second of hesitation after SegWit got adopted, which in my opinion increased technical complexity/debt, but a single parameter change from 1 megabyte block sizes to 2 megabyte block sizes was rejected due to supposed centralization risks, whereas this is less bandwidth than a single typical MP3 song stream. And I know the blocks are, of course, downloaded and rebroadcast multiple times. Bitcoin became a cult, in my opinion. This was not an accident. The community got deliberately splintered by state actors seeking to divide and conquer. You'd be foolish to think none would try. If you understand the power of fiat and how that is the incentive used to pay soldiers and the likes, fiat is fuel for war. Crypto is the end of fiat. The cat is out of the bag, and the USD is going to fall sooner or later. Trump is doing a terrific job at destroying trust in the government/state/currency. So give me the bear market. Give me the tears. Give me the wrecked dreams. Give me the lessons people will hopefully learn. Maybe won't. I've been there myself, made it to 7 figures, and lost it all in a margin call. Ouch. Couldn't even pay the rent for next month. It was all in crypto in a highly leveraged position. Luckily, I did learn my lessons and now avoid leverage almost completely. Almost completely. Crypto is volatile enough on its own. Do not defer understanding to others. Build your own understanding. This I definitely agree with. Or get abused by those that do. So what to invest in? What coin to buy? Your own mind, your own understanding. Educate yourself. It's time well spent, and time is much more valuable than any currency. It can't be bought or traded, so spend it wisely. And it doesn't matter if you're Trump or you're just you or me. Yeah, we all have the same allocation of time. Well, maybe less than others, depending how old we are, I guess. But nobody really knows the hour of our death, as they say, right? And if you made it all the way here, then I effectively stole some of your attention/time. So be mindful of what catches and holds your attention. Don't let fear be your ruler. How? Create a meditation practice/ritual for yourself where you spend time staying out of all thoughts. It's perhaps the best investment in yourself. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for providing your TED Talk, my good man. Yeah, we're all learning our lessons along the way. And yeah, an education is still well spent when it's spent through learning about leverage, I guess, early on. But he lost a lot. 7 figures. Ouch, that's bad. All in one leverage call, pretty much. Insanity. Anyway, thank you guys for sharing some of your attention here on the show. As you guys always do. It means so much to me. What's up, Wendell? What's up, Corey? Stupid iPhone. Dang, he was here since the very beginning. I remember that name. He was like my first troll on the show. Probably best to just buy a poop load of Doge and cross your fingers. Yeah, I guess if you are just gonna try to get some sort of meme coin, it should probably be Doge. I suppose. I don't think it's gonna be going away. Yeah, for sure, man. Poseidon. I'm losing my last bit of conviction in ETH, he goes on. See, this is like the sentiment in Ethereum right now. It's in the gutters. Can it get any worse? I need someone to motivate me to keep holding it. I can't take it anymore. Please, just go up. Please, please. Anyway. Yeah, if I sell some ETH later today, we can pump that thing up. So maybe I should sell some ETH today. Are we at the point now where the market's ready to bet against like everything? Anyway, it always is, by the way. It's always willing to bet against everything that you do. So Fed Chair Powell came out. So we had the Federal Reserve Chairman come out and talk about where interest rates are going to be at. Yeah, spoiler alert, they're going to stay the same. Pretty much just what was expected. People were waiting what else Jerome Powell was going to be spitting out. Really, he just talked about their dual mandate and talking about how they have to balance employment and balance inflation. And now with Trump coming into office and the threat of higher tariffs and other things, this could easily boost inflation up. So they're not really keen on lowering rates right now. They're just halting. They're not hiking them just yet. That's not out of the cards, according to Bank of America and what they said earlier. But point being, they're pretty much staying where they're at. However, we still have the Federal Reserve liquidating what's on their balance sheet, bonds, and trying to remove excess liquidity. I had seen an article say, but really this is just creating more liquidity because you're selling into a market, right? Anyway, no, I suppose when they buy, really they're buying up bonds and this boosts liquidity because it injects capital into the market. But yeah, anyway, that's where we're at. That's not a big effector, I would say, of crypto since this was expected. However, there were comments that came out afterwards when Jerome Powell spoke himself. And in it, I guess you guys can hear it for yourselves what he said.
Our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks. And you know, we think it's, you know, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks. And it's safe and sound, as many of a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. the threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in our.
Yeah. I guess he was going to say something about engaging in actually providing services themselves versus just custodying customer funds that might have been linked to cryptocurrency trading, which should be expected, right? Like that is obvious that is allowed already. So didn't hear too much. There was a bit extra in this article that covers what else he didn't say in that short video snippet. He said, we're not against innovation, and certainly we don't want to take actions that would cause banks to terminate customers who are perfectly legal just because of excess risk aversion, maybe related to regulation and supervision. I do think it would be helpful if there were a greater regulatory apparatus around crypto, and I think that's something that Congress was working on quite a lot. We've actually spent a lot of time with members of Congress working together with them on various things, and I think that would be a very constructive thing for Congress to do. So maybe trying to stay friendly with Trump as well, who seems like he's quite welcome and open to cryptocurrencies, continuing to kind of stand behind what he said more recently about cryptocurrencies, in a stark contrast to what he said back in 2016 when he was elected. But he has also been someone who has been calling for lower interest rates. He's likely to put pressure on Jerome Powell to keep rates low despite tariffs potentially kind of forcing Powell's hand. And Powell also said and reiterated that things don't change. He's going to be looking at numbers, at the data, at their dual mandate and reports surrounding it to see what the Federal Reserve does. But we will see how he potentially bends to pressure from Trump. I heard, and I haven't researched it fully for myself, just like to share whatever I'm finding for you guys to dig in deeper. But I had heard something about possibly Jerome Powell threatening Trump with a lawsuit if Trump doesn't back down and keeps trying to force Powell's hand. So that would be an interesting actual headline if that were to come up. Anyway, going forward here, we got a bunch of different new entities that are considering adding Bitcoin to state treasuries in these cases that we're going to be covering. And actually a nation state we'll be covering in just a minute, which I think is massive. So Logan Manhart shared here, I'm proud to say I will be bringing a bill in the South Dakota House that would create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So another one. Now is one of the few chances government has at being proactive. Let's have this conversation. He is a state representative for District 1 in South Dakota. We also have here a list of priorities from Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. So he announced the top 40 priority bills for Texas to be putting through under his leadership as governor. And he talks about how before 2017, there were only 20 priority bills that were like must do. Then it became 30 in 2017. And then recently it's going to be numbering at 40. So as of this year, 40 priority bills in Texas. And he talked about how the first 20 were like the most important, but now it's like the top 40. And within that almost like top 20 is that Bitcoin reserve down here at Senate Bill 21 at the 21 spot here, right under some of these other ones that are, let's see, over some of these other ones, banning THC in Texas, keeping violent criminals off our street, protecting the freedom to pray in school, guarding against inappropriate books in public schools. This one, stopping drag time story hour, whatever that means, and plenty more here. Texas Doge improving government efficiency at the number 14. Yeah, some interesting priorities here. Against the horrors of communism, educating Texas students, Bill 24. What a weird, just so strange, some of it. Anyway, bill status of HB 1844. So we can see a status of this new action here in the House today on the 29th. This is by Illinois State Representative John Cabello, who's introducing legislation for a strategic Bitcoin reserve there in Illinois State. So there's another one. Utah House bill that has just passed committee. So now it's going to go to the House and the Senate before possibly being approved by the state governor, Spencer Cox, who appears to be someone who is very pro crypto. So yeah, this bill passed by the committee passed 8-1 in favor of getting this out there. If it does pass, then as early as May, I believe it was May 14th, the date on here, I lost it, but I believe it's early May. By mid-May, this would be introduced and allow them to purchase digital assets, approve stable coins, qualifying digital assets, and allocate about 5% of certain public funds to buy these assets and hold them with qualified custodians and so on. They even announced that there could be the room for staking. This is in the language. So staking and lending kinds of capabilities kind of leads us to believe that maybe they want to engage with something that has smart contracts, such as Ethereum. Seems like a likely contender, but not an immediate contender, because here it talks about how to qualify as a digital asset to be held in this treasury here in Utah, it would have to have a market cap in excess of $500 billion. So we really only have one coin that's in excess of a $500 billion market cap. And you probably guessed it, that's Bitcoin at an over $2 billion market cap. No, I'm sorry, $2 trillion market cap. I'm losing my numbers here. That's insane. But Ethereum here is in the second place, and it's a $380 billion market cap. I'm sorry. So it still needs to get added about $120 billion to its market cap, Ethereum, in order to be considered to be added to a Utah strategic reserve. But it seems like it could not be very far away realistically, and it's something that Utah seems like they're prepared to see happening in the future, since they talk about multiple different coins going forward that could be added here. So yeah, Bitcoin likely the first thing, but not likely over the longer term to be the only thing held here by Utah. What's up, Validator? Nice to see you, my man. Oh, Corey Stupid iPhone sharing his allocation. Oh, cool. Wait, so you got BTC-D at 50%, you have Doge D at 10%, and ETH D at 5%. Is that what you're doing right now? So primarily holding Bitcoin, if I understand. Cool. Yeah, and a lot of Doge, a decent amount of Doge anyway, 10%. So the Czech, so this is the nation state I was talking about that is considering creating a reserve. Well, really, this is a central bank in the Czech Republic. They are isolated, or independent rather, from some of the political forces in Czech. So very much like what you see here in the United States. However, here in the United States, our reserve bank has not invested in any Bitcoin. We know that. And that would kind of make this Czech central bank the first real national or reserve bank that would be adding Bitcoin to its coffers. So this would be a plan to buy billions of euros into Bitcoin, 5% of their reserves, $140 billion they have apparently in reserves. Oh, I'm sorry, euros, 140 billion euros in reserves, putting 5% as much of that perhaps into Bitcoin. So yeah, this is pretty dope. This is by Ales Mikkel. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. My Czech is not super good. Dobry den, guys, dobry den. If you're Czech out there, that's the best I got. But he said comments like this: for the diversification of our assets, Bitcoin seems good. Those Trump guys can now create some kind of bubble for Bitcoin, but I think the trend would be an increase without those guys as well, because it's an alternative investment for more people. Yeah, for more and more people. This is way outside of just Trump. He's just the latest, like, really superstar, I guess you could say. He's still up there with Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's still hanging on, right? Week after week, buying these huge amounts of Bitcoin. He continued talking about having a philosophy, totally different philosophy than Jerome Powell about Bitcoin and than his counterparts. Of course, if you compare my position, said Mikkel, with other bankers, and I'm the one entering the jungle, or the pioneer. I used to run an investment fund, so I'm a typical banker, I would say. I like profitability. Apparently the European Central Bank officials wrote last year that the fair value of Bitcoin is still zero. Bitcoin is not suitable as means of payment or as an investment, but he's really not kind of following that line of thinking. He admits that the investment in Bitcoin could eventually be worthless, but this is a risk that he is willing to take with his reserve bank. It's possible to have, he said, a big range of outcomes, that Bitcoin will have a value of zero or an absolutely fantastic value. But in our history, we have also had some stocks like Enron or the payment company Wirecard. Total money, like not money laundering, fraud schemes, let's call them. So we have some experience with bad investments. So yes, I'm ready for a possible Bitcoin collapse, but I'm saying that my goal is to diversify the portfolio. So if Bitcoin is good for that, then let's have it. So I would say really, really positive comments here from Mikkel over in the Czech central bank. Really nice to see that he's just kind of going against the general consensus among his colleagues of poo-pooing Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies in favor of fiat currencies and keeping things how they've been going and just pretending that they don't exist and ignoring them for the most part. So really nice to consider that. They could definitely be a leader if they're the first to do that. Cynthia Loomis, Wyoming senator and helping Trump with his digital asset committee, has kind of announced more plans about her proposal for a strategic Bitcoin reserve in this article. Well, really in this video here that took place earlier on Fox Business Live. And the plan, announces buying 200,000 Bitcoin here in the US for our nation annually for 5 years, holding for at least 20 years. Good, have some diamond hands, right? We're not just going to sell them right away in 5 years or in 10 years, at least 20 years. Not at 20 years we sell, but at least 20 years. And goal, have the U.S. national debt in 20 years. It's being called by folks a Ponzi scheme, saying it's ridiculous. You're basically using Bitcoin as a Ponzi scheme to try to get out of your Ponzi scheme anyway, and as a way to dump on Bitcoin hodlers eventually when the price gets really high, then they are used as exit liquidity for the most part, while we have frivolously just wasted money and hope to get out of it by buying Bitcoin. But I actually still think this is a great thing. And my comment under all of this was it would be stupid to not hold Bitcoin in the national treasury as it's crucial to national security. Would the U.S. allow themselves to get left behind as other nations adopt and hoard it? Will the U.S. be a leader or a laggard who then has to bid at much higher prices? I don't think the Bitcoiners are going to be considered exit liquidity because as Bitcoin climbs in price, it attracts demand and it can be, again, subdivided into so many different decimal places that there will always be a bid for Bitcoin. There's no upper end of the price here. Anyway, I'm in support here for Cynthia Loomis's plans now that we're getting more details as to what she's thinking about. One country that actually is shooting themselves in the foot here, and I talk about these nation states shooting themselves in the foot, and because they just say all sorts of nonsense, these politicians, and think that a quick seizure of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies is wow or get out of jail free card. As this article delves into a Chinese money laundering scheme, they arrested some like 42-year-old woman for trying to buy super expensive property in London, and they are now sitting on a 5 billion euro or pound windfall in Great Britain. And Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of Great Britain, is being told and is considering just selling this Bitcoin in order to help what look like terrible economics under her as she perhaps prepares to leave office. So we have like former Tory Chancellor Norman Lamont saying, I think that Reeves should spend it right away and not hold on to it. Otherwise, it looks like the government is legitimizing crypto, which has no intrinsic value. It would also help with the government's finances. God, it's like such an old argument to say with no nuance. It's silly. No intrinsic value. Let's just repeat that again. This Jamie Dimon kind of stuff. And Tory former cabinet minister saying, Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg saying, if this money does come to rest in the Treasury's coffers, Rachel Reeves must make use of it as soon as she can, before it goes to zero tomorrow, Bitcoin. Oh no, the Chancellor's punitive tax rises were never justified in the first place. Oh yeah, this is the woman who was arrested, Jian Wen. Anyway, yeah, they're going to try to pass it so that they can actually put this windfall into their coffers, taking it. I don't know. There's some sort of money laundering kind of thing going on here when you're taking it and seizing it and then trying to use it to make yourself look good. I think it's so stupid. Instead of holding on to it and trying to accrue more Bitcoin, it looks like they're really trying to do the exact opposite. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that one. There's plenty more details. This article is quite long, so I won't waste your time much longer. But I found it on dailymail.co.uk. It's called Chancellor Rachel Reeves could use $5 billion of Bitcoin seized from money laundering probe into Chinese fraudster to plug economic black hole. And she is not popular right now for having introduced like some sort of farm tax and some other taxes as well. And this could help further windfalls even beyond the revenues that they'll be making by having passed that. Anyway, speaking of Cardano, it looks like really good news here for Cardano coming up, something that the community has been anticipating for quite some time and has perhaps been fueling some of its recent rally. This is talking about the decentralized governance hard fork that's going to be happening on this Wednesday, the Plomin hard fork for Cardano. It says here, Cardano, a leading proof-of-stake blockchain platform, is poised to transition to full decentralized governance this Wednesday. I love decentralized governance. Big fan of hearing this. The Plomin hard fork marks a significant milestone for Cardano, enabling ADA holders to exercise genuine voting power over critical aspects of the blockchain. This includes decisions on parameter changes, treasury withdrawals, future hard forks, and the overall direction of the network. The Plomin hard fork takes effect, marking the transition to full decentralized governance. ADA holders gain real voting power on parameter changes, treasury withdrawals, hard forks, and the blockchain's future, stated the Cardano Foundation. It's a milestone in blockchain governance. And what is the token up today? Yeah, it's up a nice 2.5%. So the leader, really, when you're looking at the top the top 10 cryptocurrencies on CoinGecko, and I love to see it taking steps towards actually being decentralized. That actually makes me want to look into Cardano more, not gonna lie. Anyway, Crypto.com is going to be delisting Tether along with 9 other tokens in Europe because of MiCA regulations that came into effect, only allowing for authorized coin trading. So by the end of March, by 31st of March, the end of Q1, these tokens will have to be liquidated and converted into compatible tokens under this new regulation on the Crypto.com platform. This applies to all sorts of other platforms that have to have MiCA compliant assets available for trading in order to have their European license capabilities. So they're going to be delisting Crypto.com, Wrapped Bitcoin, DAI, Pax Dollar, Pax Gold, PayPal USD, Crypto.com staked ETH, Crypto.com staked Sol, Liquid CRO, and XSGD. This also follows Coinbase, which delisted USDT earlier. And you guys have to make sure to take care of that. All of these things by March 31st. And anything related to these ticker symbols is not going to be available on the platform at all, even in sell-only mode. So if you are a Crypto.com user, make sure, and you're in Europe, make sure that you check that out for yourselves. And there's this as well I found interesting. Connor Rogan had posted this on X. There is one guy responsible for 18,000 tokens that are created on Pump Fun. So you can go buy like the latest penny meme tokens, right? So this dude apparently created 18,000 tokens. It appears they wake up and create an average of dozens of tokens an hour until they go to bed, probably using some sort of bots to do that. But anyway, and then do it again every day. They've done this for months, and it appears to have been quite profitable for them. They have made $3.76 million on all trades, a 55.57% win rate. So I guess props to this guy for taking advantage of the times and making a little nest egg for himself. That was interesting. So this is making the rounds again. This was posted by Cointelegraph. This is the classic chart, the Wall Street cheat sheet, which shows psychology of market cycles. And it is quite accurate. It's been uncannily accurate to how sentiment feels and copies this as we go through these about 4-year cycles in crypto markets. And I wanted to know, what did you guys think? Where do you feel that we are in this chart right now? If I had to say for myself, I would say we are probably in the belief part of this. Time to get fully invested. Right after optimism, this rally is real, and right before thrill, I will buy more on margin. Gotta tell everyone to buy. I'm not feeling like the gotta tell everyone to buy thing is here yet, where you feel like you can't go wrong, you're a genius, like no matter what, everything goes up, nobody can make a mistake, we're all gonna be rich. And then that huge blow up euphoria at the top. I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich. Then complacency. We just need to cool off for the next rally. You might argue that we are in complacency. We're just cooling off before the next rally. So that's totally valid. If you guys think that, I would like to know why you feel like we're there more than in the belief era. Anyway, then comes anxiety. I don't think I'm ready yet for that one. Why am I getting margin calls? This dip is taking longer than expected, and denial. My investments are with great companies. They will come back. Maybe that's where I'm at with Ethereum. Panic. Poop, everybody is selling, I need to get out, and so on. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we will definitely go through all of that at some these points coming through the future. And here's a quote by Adam Simica. Bitcoin is kind of dumb. All it does is preserve wealth, enable unstoppable payments, and take power away from central banks. Props to the Czech central bank governor for like going against the herd. And so I'll put this quote as our final end of the day one by Wayne Dyer. If all you do is follow the herd, you'll just be stepping in poop all day. Yes. Anyway, that's the show that I have for you guys. Thank you for taking part here in the chat, guys. Corey, Stupid iPhone, Validator, ETH, Bit Warrior, Wendell, Renee. Always appreciate these classic names here, and everyone else who checks out these videos. Make sure you remember to hit the like button. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the show. Remember to enable notifications so that you can join this fantastic live chat with these OGs. And I'll catch you guys later. Take care, much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.